On August 15, 2025, we gather once again to honor extraordinary lives from across the United States and the United Kingdom. Individuals who, through activism, art, intellect, sport, and courage, help define the spirit of their times. From the quiet strength of civil rights leaders to the imagination of novelists, from the discipline of athletes to the creativity of musicians and scholars, these men and women live lives of depth and meaning. Their journeys remind us that greatness takes many forms. Sometimes in the fight for justice, sometimes in the telling of a story, and sometimes in the laughter, learning, and legacy left behind. Anita Lyons Bond was a force of change whose courage helped shape a fairer America. As a civil rights activist, she worked tirelessly to dismantle the barriers of segregation and inequality. Her advocacy began in an era when speaking up for justice could come at great personal cost, yet she never wavered. Bond's passion was rooted in community. Whether organizing local movements, marching for equality, or mentoring the next generation, she exemplified what it meant to fight with grace and determination. Even in her later years, she remained an advocate for education and social empowerment. At 95, her passing marks the end of a chapter in the ongoing story of civil rights. But the echoes of her voice still call out for fairness, dignity, and hope. Greg Iles was one of America's most powerful contemporary novelists, a Southern storyteller whose words explore truth, morality, and the deep complexities of human life. Born in Mississippi, Iles became known for gripping thrillers like The Quiet Game, 24 Hours, and The Footprint of God. His books combine suspense with social reflection, often examining the soul of the South, its beauty and its shadows. After surviving a devastating car crash in 2011, Iles returned to writing with a renewed sense of purpose, creating the Natchez Burning Trilogy, a sweeping epic that fused history, mystery, and moral reckoning. His death from multiple myeloma at 65 leaves a silence in American literature, but his works endure, timeless, haunting, and deeply human. Jamshid Sharifi was a rare kind of musician, one who transcended genres and cultural boundaries. As a composer and record producer, he blended orchestral traditions with world music, jazz, and electronic soundscapes. Born to an Iranian father and American mother, Sharifi grew up surrounded by multiple musical traditions, and it showed in his work. His compositions were soulful, cinematic, and spiritually rich. He collaborated with numerous artists and composed for film, theater, and world music projects. His ability to blend ancient sound with modern rhythm gave his work a unique universality. Sharifi's passing at 64 is a loss to music lovers around the world. But his art remains a bridge between cultures, reminding us that music speaks the language of unity and peace. Brian Dobson was a proud English footballer who represented Colchester, united with commitment and class. His name may not dominate headlines today, but in his time, Dobson embodied the passion and integrity of post-war football, when the game was driven by community spirit more than commercial success. His career reflected consistency and teamwork, inspiring young players to play with heart. At 91, his story is a reminder that not every hero of the sport is defined by trophies. Some are remembered for the love and loyalty they gave to the game itself. Fred Emery was one of Britain's most respected investigative journalists. As a television presenter and reporter, he became a trusted voice through his work on programs like Panorama and World in Action. Emery's fearless reporting shed light on issues of political corruption, injustice, and truth at a time when journalism still demanded deep investigation and courage. He believed that the role of the press was not to flatter power, but to hold it accountable. His work helped set standards for integrity in British media. At 91, he leaves behind a journalistic legacy rooted in honesty, curiosity, and courage. Sarah Layton's life was one of artistry and expression. Known first as an actress, appearing in films like You Know What Sailors Are and Woman Eater, she later reinvented herself as a portrait painter, earning acclaim for her elegant and evocative works. Her transition from acting to painting reflected a restless creative spirit, one that could find beauty both in a character and on a canvas. Layton's portraits captured more than faces. They conveyed emotion, memory, and identity. Her passing at 91 closes a lifetime devoted to the pursuit of art in its many forms. Jack Spence was a distinguished British academic and political analyst, long affiliated with King's College London. His research and teaching influenced generations of diplomats, scholars, and students of international relations. Spence's career was marked by intellectual rigor and global perspective. He analyzed world affairs with balance and insight, emphasizing the value of diplomacy and understanding in an increasingly divided world. At 94, his passing is deeply felt across academic circles, but his writings continue to shape the study of politics and global security. Gary Little was a beloved Scottish comedian whose humor came straight from the heart. Known for his raw, relatable, and often self-deprecating style, Little had a gift for connecting with audiences, turning everyday struggles into laughter. His performances were more than comedy. They were confessions, reflections on life, and proof that laughter can heal. His unexpected death at 61 following a tragic fall has left the UK comedy community in mourning. But even in his absence, his voice, his wit, and his warmth live on in the echoes of laughter he sparked across countless stages. Today, we honor Anita Lyons Bond, Greg Iles, Brian Martin, Jamshid Sharifi, Brian Dobson, Fred Emery, Sarah Layton, Jack Spence, and Gary Little. Each came from a different world: activism, art, sports, academia, journalism, and music. Yet they shared one defining truth: they lived with passion and purpose. Anita fought for equality. Greg wrote stories that made us think. Jamshid gave us melodies that united cultures. Brian Martin inspired through sport. And across the Atlantic, Fred Emery sought truth. Sarah Layton painted beauty. Jack Spence pursued knowledge. And Gary Little gave us the gift of laughter. Their lives remind us that legacy is not measured in fame, but in impact, in the people touched, the ideas shared, and the art left behind.